What up, doe, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Daily Upside. I'm your host, Keen Arrivals, and I'm bringing you sports cards news every day. Today, we're going to be talking about some of the recent plays in the sports cards market, a few cards that I see that might be underrated, as well as a few cards that have went up. And, some of them have shocked me, and some of them have gone up, and I'm actually happy to see them do so because that's just going to push the rest of the market up. If you guys haven't followed me on Instagram, definitely go do so. I post some pretty cool things there. I just posted this market cap method post showing you LeBron James's tops rookie compared to his upper deck rookie. So that's super, super interesting. If you guys haven't grabbed the market cap method, then definitely do so because this post will make a lot more sense to you after you kind of go through those tools. Also, don't forget to shoot me a follow on Twitter. That's where I live tweet a lot of basketball plays and I just throw out some random gems for you guys to kind of keep up with. So yeah, definitely look out for that. Also, I'm trying to do a question a day on Instagram. So if you guys can head over to my Twitter and just throw out a question that you've been wanting to ask me, and I'll try to put it out there, answer it within the Instagram post, and get the other responses from the rest of the community. So head over to Twitter and knock that out for me. I would greatly appreciate it, guys. Getting into some NBA news, I'm rocking with The Athletic today. They had a post on Nikola Jokic saying that his self-deprecating LeBron jokes is an important truth. And yeah, if you guys haven't been following this, basically, the media has been asking Jokic about LeBron, and he kind of responded and said, we got the same speed, we got the same athleticism. LeBron's a little older. He's just making some jokes about the GOAT. He went on to say that obviously LeBron is the GOAT, but I think the media is, asking Jokic, like, hey, do you feel like you're up there with him? Do you feel like you're one of the top players in the NBA? And, he's talked about his health and how that's really impacted him. And yeah, man, Jokic is balling out there right now. A lot of people are saying that his inability to like jump high or be athletic is going to allow him to kind of play this game for quite some time. So, we should be seeing Jokic for 20 years because he's just literally fundamentals out there, fundamentals and IQ. So, yeah, guys, I'm really big on Jokic. I put out some star stock plays of his. I actually picked up a few more of his Donruss rookies within the star stock platform. So we'll be talking about that more in morning bins. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Jokic. I like him as a player. I like Denver as a team. And if Jokic is emerging as a superstar or a potential face of the league, then that's going to be really, really good for Denver and Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray and the rest of those guys over there. So yeah, super, super big on Jokic right now. Another post they made on the Athletic was, "Oh Lord, LeBron James has become a 3-point sniper." And I don't even have to read this one. LeBron James just knocking down threes. I watched the game and he was coming off curls and he was shooting threes. And it was funny because I was talking to a friend yesterday and we were talking about 27 or 28. That's like the NBA's prime for athleticism and like, muscle and build and just you kind of get the ability to dominate if you had that frame around 28. But another thing that we were talking about was Jason Kidd. He's a favorite player of my friends. We were talking about how like 31, 32 is like the prime age for shooters, so you out of nowhere, you just start seeing guys shooting threes around 31, 32, Vince Carter, Jason Kidd, maybe Ben Simmons. Maybe Ben Simmons will do it. If Ben Simmons is shooting threes at 31, 32, then this is going to be confirmed. But we also see Stephen Curry, who's quote unquote maybe in his prime right now. So yeah, basically as you get a little bit older, as you kind of get, 32, 33, as you kind of get close to retirement, it seems that you just become a sharpshooter. So I think this is going to be sick for LeBron. He still has his athleticism, but if he's also out there just draining threes, coming off the curl, picking rolls, pulling up, then yeah, I mean, how much higher can his cards go? Probably higher, if he starts doing that. But this season, he's shooting 41% from three. That's just super impressive. Super impressive. They say Klay Thompson over the course of his career has shot 41.9% and LeBron's shooting 41.3. So, we're not saying he's Klay Thompson, but, we're saying if you give that man the ball 4 out of 10 times, he's going to knock that three down. Moving on to some sports cards news, because how much more can we talk about LeBron James? I want to get right into this Zion card that I've been looking at. Not for purchase or anything. I've just been kind of studying it. Yesterday, his select courtside silver PSA 10 sold for $1,010. And that's a fair amount of money, right? But for me, it's just super, super confusing because I feel like I don't really know what Zion cards are doing. If you look at Card Ladder, you can see that for the most part, if you have a select silver, it's typically about half the price of the Prism silver. And we can kind of confirm that with everybody else. And if you look at Jason Tatum's Prism silver, it's going for $33.50. $3,350. If you slide down to his select silver, it's going for 1,500. Not quite half, but kind of there. If you look at Luka, he's at $8,120, and his select silver is going for 3,900. Again, not quite half, but super, super close. Then if you look at Zion, his Prism silver is going for $3,500, and his select silver is going for $1,000. That's just not okay, and that's after his Prism has dropped like 40%, within the last month. So, I mean, I feel like if you have a Prism silver of Zion right now, it might be time to sell. Based on this math, the Prism silver of Zion is probably going to end up about $2,200, or the select silver is just super underrated. So it's one of the two. I don't know which two it is. Based on this data that we have in front of us, it's looking like the Prism silver is overrated. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Are you big on Zion right now? He's playing pretty well. Are you buying the select silver, hoping that it goes up to about that 1750 price point, which would make this math kind of correct? Or are you holding the Prism silver and thinking about selling before it dips to 2200? This is going to be something fun that we'll keep up with because eventually the market does play out. And I'm interested to see how this one plays out. Moving on to another card here, we have a 2018-19 Select Concourse of Luka Doncic. This one sold yesterday for what I thought was a pretty low amount. It went for $810. These were trending for like 950, 975. I want to say maybe as low as 925. So to see the Select PSA 10 Concourse rookie drop to 810, you have to ask yourself, like, is Modern starting to fall off a bit? And the answer is yeah. A lot of the higher pop cards are falling off, but the Select card isn't really that high of a pop. So at some point, I'm still waiting for a really good entry point to see how things play out. But at some point, it's going to be smart to kind of jump in here and swoop some of these less populated cards up. The Select Concourse is one of them. I think it has a pop of a little over 1,000. And that puts it, rarer than LeBron's Topps Chrome or, whatever card you want to compare it to. So I'm going to see what the floor on these things are. If they're going for 800, I'm not mad at that. If they start dipping to like 750, I might have to jump in and grab a few just because Luka is an all-time talent. And, you know, maybe they go to 600, maybe they go to 1,000. I'm not sure. But I think at 750, I'm happy gambling at that price point. So we'll also keep a look on that. And more potential underrated cards, Kyrie's 2012-13 Hoops BGS 9.5 sold for $85 yesterday. I know you guys aren't super high on BGS, but you have to understand that these 2012 cards, these 2009 cards, like these older cards are going to be predominantly BGS because that's what we used to grade with. So yeah, it's not the sexiest play, but I'm feeling like at 85 bucks, like that's just too cheap for a graded Kyrie. He's out there killing it. I know he's not doing that great with the media, but he's trying, guys, and he's getting better. We saw a few smiles in some of the post interviews. The Nets still haven't figured out their defense, but if you look at the numbers and if you watch the games, Kyrie is the best offensive player on that team. I know that's gonna strike a few chords, and people are gonna say no Durant, no Harden. At the moment, right now, Kyrie is the guy with the ball. He's the guy taking the last shot, in my opinion. So we'll see how that plays out. I mean, I know a lot of people are gonna disagree with that, but he's putting up 30 points per game since he came back. And if you look at the statistics and the stats, you typically won't see Kyrie's numbers up there because he hasn't played as many games as everybody else. But that's going to change in a week or so. He's going to be right up there. He's going to pop up as a top 10 scorer. And I believe the stigma on Kyrie will change as the season goes on. So I'm not telling anybody to go buy a BGS card or to go buy this hoops card. I'm just saying you can't get a lot of cards for $85 right now. And the fact that you can get a Kyrie one is super shocking to me. Moving on to another card, another BGS card, actually, that I think was kind of underrated last night. That's LeBron James's Topps Pristine Refractor. I'm really big on entry points right now. I'm doing a blog post about that now. It's going to be dropping later today, actually. So you guys will get that in your inbox. That's only for the premium subscribers, though. So if you're not signed up for the premium membership, then you're going to miss out. But yeah, the blog post is talking about BGS cards and how there's a lot of underrated plays within them. And this is one of them. This card is probably $25,000 for a PSA. I'm not sure if that's just like the hype run, but I know a few have sold at that price point. So the fact that I can jump in here and get a BGS 9.5 for $8,000 is just absurd. Like, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Like, again, you can, I'll save it for the blog post, but I think this is a good play. I think these are super undervalued. And again, I'm really into entry points right now. If you're just coming into the market and if you're an investor, what cards are you looking at? Because it's not LeBron James's $40,000 Topps Chrome card. It's not Michael Jordan's $700,000, Fleer PSA 10 rookie. If you're new and you have a little capital, which cards are you going to buy? That's what I'm looking at right now. I think that's what fractional investing is looking at. And those are the kind of conversations that I want to start bringing up because that's going to be the future way for us to make some money here and to kind of catch these flips. So we'll have more on that later. But yeah, for right now, I definitely think this LeBron James Pristine refractor is a steal. It's been in my morning bins. It's also been a sports cards pick of the week. So yeah, definitely look into that. And I want to know what you guys think about this card in the comments. A lot of people don't like the look of it. I actually think it's pretty sick. I think it's a pretty sick card. It's numbered to 1099. And it's just like, what's the odds? I think this is just cultural LeBron. He in the Air Force One, the jersey's untucked. I like it a lot. Let me know what you guys think. Now we're going to talk about some cards that kind of shocked me a little bit yesterday. Some of these were shocks where I was like, wow, I can't believe it sold that much. And then some of it was like, finally, that card's going up. So right jumping into it is Ben Simmons 2006-17 Prism Orange Wave. Now this card is super rare, numbered to 25, but it's over $3,000. And it's a BGS 9.5. It's a true gem. And I just didn't think it would sell that much. I put this in my upside auctions because for whatever reason, I don't know if you guys have watched Ben Simmons, but he always like struggles the first 20 games. And then he just starts kind of like dominating out of nowhere, putting up 17, 18 points. And we're starting to see that a little bit now. Um, but yeah, I thought it was going to sell for around 2,200, maybe $2,000. I was actually interested in at that price point. I don't have as much Ben Simmons as I used to have, but for this rare of a card, I was definitely down to maybe grab it and flip my courtside silver. But yeah, it sold at $3,000. And what that shows me is that, and that's a BGS 9.5. So yeah, this one shows me that the Ben Simmons market is still kind of alive and there's still some, validity for, rare cards. Rare cards are still valid despite them being modern or not modern. People are still interested into those like numbers to 25, numbers to 50. So, maybe Ben Simmons isn't doing so well on the grand scheme of things, but his rare cards still have a value to them. And I think that's because collectors still want them. And because it's just like, hey, if I get this card and Ben Simmons does figure it out, then I know I hit the jackpot. So if you're investing in a guy, if you're looking at a player, try to factor in, does he have any collectors? And if he does, or if you think he will, then definitely pick up some of those rare cards because they're going to sell regardless of if he's performing or not, because people want those cards in their collection. Another card that kind of went up in value, and we all should have saw this one coming. That's Kobe's Bowman's Best. I put out a morning Ben's post on this one. It was like, hey, Kobe's Bowman's Best or his finest. I'm not sure which one's doing better, but basically they were just too cheap. If LeBron's Bowman Chrome's going up, if Kevin Durant's Bowman Chrome's going up, then why wouldn't Kobe's? And I think for a minute they were $1,000, and then they kind of jumped to like 16, 17, and then we kind of saw them trend for like 19, 2000. And yesterday we had one go for 2,480. So I'm not sure if that's a new all-time high or not, but it's definitely a pretty penny for this card. And if the Topps Chrome is $30,000 or whatever it is, and it's greening, I think the Bowman's Best and the finest at a tenth of that is a pretty solid pickup if you're a Kobe fan, at least in today's market. It'd be interesting to see what happens to these later down the road. But I know the Bowman's Best and the finest are still relatively limited, especially compared to today's cards. So yeah, definitely think that these should have been jumped up, and I think just Chrome cards across the board for a lot of these guys are good buys. So if you're looking at some vintage cards or some older players, you can't quite afford their Topps Chrome card. Look at their Bowman's Best. Look at their finest. Look at their Fleer Metal. Look at some of those cards that may not be on a lot of people's radar, but at some point they will be because price will force them to look at them. So yeah, super excited for Kobe. And then last but not least here, guys, I mean, this brings a little tear to my eye. And this is Stephen Curry's 2009, 2010 Panini BGS 9.5 rookie. I literally remember we were buying these for $65. That was like one of the first big cards that we kind of shouted out here on this channel that people picked up. A lot of us kind of got out of the plays around 250, 300, but I did write a blog post telling people like this card is going to hit $500. It has to. Like the data says that it has to. And I'm not going to lie, it took quite a long time for that to happen. I would say that post came out maybe 6 to 8 months ago, and now we're just now seeing it hit 500. But I'm sure a few of you stayed in there. A few of you stuck out with that card. I've had so many of these. I've even had the auto like number to 25 or something like that. I really miss those cards, and I like this Panini card because it's like the first Panini card. I don't know if it's the first set to ever come out from Panini, but 2009 was Panini's first year, and who better to represent that than Stephen Curry, than James Harden? I think it's going to be an iconic set, depending on how those guys' future play out. Especially if James Harden can get a ring, who knows? Maybe Blake Griffin would get traded and get one too. So, I think it's a really cool set. And I think these still have room to grow, guys. I mean, the Topps rookies BGS 9.5 is like 3,500. The Topps Chrome rookie is just like, who can afford that? And, that it only leaves like some of his Panini stuff. And I think those are super undervalued right now, especially as like the first year of Panini. Like that alone, in my opinion, gives it a premium. So yeah, here's a 2-year chart on this card from Card Ladder. I mean, we started buying them around that $60 price point. They don't even have it on here. And then it just shot up to $580. And if a few of them have sold around these price points, but from 388 to 525 to 580. So I think Steph Curry's all time. I think his cards are going to keep going up. And the cool thing about Stephen Curry that I like the most right now is that no one's expecting him to win. He's in that, like, I don't think anybody cares if he wins. I mean, obviously we want him to win games. We want him to still play well, but like no one's expecting Stephen Curry to win a championship, yet his cards are still going up. I love those kind of plays. Like I feel like right now, if Durant doesn't win a championship, his cards will go down. Stephen Curry, just going to keep going up because he's all time. He changed the game of basketball. So think about that too when you're buying some of these guys. If you guys want to see, what plays I think are really good, I do upside auctions every night. I send this out. I tell you what cards I think are good buys. I leave some target prices for them based on their comps. So definitely look into that. All you have to do is head over to the highupsideshow.com, sign up for the newsletter, and you'll start getting morning bins as well as upside auctions in your inbox every night. And look, I understand morning bins is coming out like 11:50. We're barely hitting the morning, but sometimes with these podcasts, it makes it a little bit harder. So I'm going to make it a goal of mine to try to get up super early in the morning and knock these out so I can have morning bins in your inbox before 10 o'clock. That's going to be my goal, 10 o'clock Eastern. So look out for that. It's not going to happen today, but it's a goal of mine. I've been setting my alarm, and I don't know, man. I had problems with sleeping, and now I can't wake up. So we're going to figure that out. And yeah, that's it for this one, guys. Check out highupsideshow.com. Let me know what you think about Jokic potentially being the face of the league. Like, do you think that's possible, or is he too Jokic? Is he just not there yet? And also let me know what you think about those BGS plays. Remember, that article is dropping tonight. If you haven't signed up for the newsletter, for the premium subscription, definitely do so. It's a few dollars and it brings you a ton of value. And we're about to start cranking out content. So I hope you guys are ready for that. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Happy investing.